Officially commencing our success batch IE and IFS. And when you talk about the subject IFS, I'll be taking up the remaining modules, that is module C and D, not only in success batch but all the other batches also which are there in the Mahapack as well. So yes, we will be starting from tomorrow the classes for module D, and then we will be moving our we will be shifting our focus to module C as well once the module D is done, because you must be knowing that in IE and IFS, the most important module is module D. So we'll be starting our class from there and gradually shifting our focus to the module C. So if you have any doubt related to IAIFS subject, related to JAIIB in journal, or for that matter, you are already preparing, you are facing some difficulty in your preparation, feel free to ask me any kind of doubt. This orientation session is specifically for all such doubts. Okay. And if you are watching me on the YouTube, so you guys are also welcome to share all your thoughts, all your doubts, whatsoever are there, so that we can have a good discussion around each and every topic. I think voice is clear. Let me just check again. Just give me a moment. Specifically for all such. It is clear from my end, right? Good evening, everyone. Yes, it is clear. Okay, fine. So I can see that students are there on the YouTube also. So whatever doubts you have on the YouTube, you can ask me. So today's agenda is very simple. We will be starting off with the basics, that how you should approach JAIIB in journal and IE and IFS specifically. So let's start our discussion with the first thing, which states that the registration is about to close. When we are talking about the registration process, although it might take some time to register if you are a new member, but you should do it as soon as possible. 22nd of Feb is the last day for your registration, but do not wait till the end. Try to register as soon as possible if you have not registered till now. Do not fall for those discussions where some people will be saying that yes, the registration window will be extended thanks to the previous trend of IIBF. Do not discuss such things. Do not waste your time on such things right now. The window is open. Try to register as soon as possible. Okay. Now, once you register, you have the timetable in front of you where IE and IFS is the first subject for which the examination will be held on 3rd of May. And when we calculate, 3rd of May is not far. Okay. You have limited amount of time. If we segregate our preparation via the knowledge, the first phase will be knowledge phase, then comes the implementation or the practice phase, as well as the revision phase. So if we segregate our preparation and say that what amount of time we have for the knowledge base, it is somewhere around 60-65 days only, because last few days, or for that matter last week, should be dedicated only for the revision, multiple revision and the practice. So I would say that take it as 60 days only. Right now you have only 60 days for the IE and IFS examination. We will be having the annual closing also in the March month. There also our time will be gone for the professional obligation. So 60 odd days are there for our examination. That should be much more clear in your mind. That clarity you should have. After that, we have the PPB, that is Principles and Practices of Banking. And for PPB also, in this batch, or for that matter, every batch of English medium, I'll be taking up the classes, Principles and Practices of Banking. The examination is on 9th of May, but a very tricky date, I would say. Every time it is very, very tricky for the your PPB and AFM. Why? Because these exams are held back to back. And we have seen personally that many deserving bankers, they are unable to either crack PPB or AFM. They just flunk in one of these examinations. The number is quite high. So my advice would be that since you are starting for IE IFS, in parallel, you should focus on either of these two subjects as well. If you are a commerce background student, focus on PPB. if you are from non-commerce background, focus on AFM in parallel with your IE and IFS preparation. Okay, because we do not just want to crack IFS, we want to crack JAIIB examination. Ultimately, our target is to appear in the CAIIB examination in this year, November, December itself. Then comes the 17th May exam, that is RBWM, and mostly the students find this relatively easy as compared to the other three subjects. And why they feel that this is easy or doable? One reason could be that once they appear in these three examinations, they become familiar with the exam condition. And when they appear in the RBWM exam, they find it much more doable. Nonetheless, you should focus on all the subjects equally, starting off with IE and IFS, and parallelly you can start with PPP or AFM. And when we say that in general, this exam of Junior Associate of IIBF, what are the common points among all these four subjects? For the JAIIB examination, these are some common areas where you should focus on. First and the foremost, not only the concepts. Concepts are important, no doubt about that. That concepts will be making or breaking your chances of qualifying JAIIB examination. But along with that, also lay special emphasis on the facts and the numericals, the formula-based questions. Because ultimately, if you are trying to secure 60 plus marks, only concepts won't help you. Concepts, yes, they are required, but based on the concepts alone, you are thinking that you can crack this examination of JAIIB and score 60 plus in all the subjects. No, it cannot be done. You must focus on the facts. You have to cram some things also, some data points also. Along with that, the numericals, you should not ignore them. And I'm not talking about AFM. AFM has the inherent nature. In this subject, you will find numericals, but numericals are there in PPB also, in RBWM also, and IE IFS also has the formula-based questions. So lay special emphasis on these types of questions as well if you want to secure 60 plus marks. Then interpretation of the options is required. Earlier we used to say that only IE and IFS is the subject where you require the interpretation of the options. But now each and every subject, be it your PPB, AFM, RBWM, all these subjects are becoming very much tricky to handle thanks to the difficulty level posed by the IIBF via the interpretation of the options. The options are becoming very, very tricky. So if you can interpret what the examiner is asking and ultimately arrive at the answer, the right answer, then only you can aim for 60 odd marks. Next, you should be having a specific strategy for handling the questions. One is interpretation. Second will be reading speed. Your reading speed should be in line with the difficulty level of IIBF, the questions I'm talking about. Along with that, there are three categories of questions. One will be of 0.5 marker. Then we have 1 marker questions as well as 2 marker questions also. So all these three categories, you should have dedicated plan that how I'll be handling a 0.5 marker question, how I'll be doing the 1 marker question, and how I'll be scoring full marks from the 2 marker question. The plan should be fixed. My advice would be that you should not ignore these 0.5 marker questions. I have seen many students in the previous exam cycles, they focus more on 2 marker question and they just leave 0.5 marker questions thanks to the facts which are being asked. Do not do this mistake. Ultimately, these 0.5 marker questions will add your marks. They will be ultimately determined whether you will be scoring 60 plus or not. Also, one silver lining for this attempt again is that there is no negative marking. So how you should interpret this particular clause? You should go with the educated guess. Thanks to no negative marking, there is a scope of making the educated guess. Okay, try to attempt all the questions in all these papers. Fine. Do not feel that yes, I should only attempt 70 questions or 80 questions. Fine, with 100% accuracy. No, that won't work. Try to attempt all the questions if you can, because there is no negative marking. Now let's move on to the specific area for which we are having orientation today, that is IE and IFS. Indian economy, Indian financial system. What are the important pointers which you should keep in mind while preparing for this exam? So first thing first, it is the first examination. Yes, it will set the tone of the entire JAIIB examination cycle. So if you score good marks in IFS, you will feel much more confident, and ultimately the confidence will help you in the upcoming exams also. But if you score low marks in the IFS examination, the same thing will happen in the upcoming exams also, thanks to the lower confidence. And that I'm not claiming based on my interpretation, it is based on the students who have appeared in the previous exam cycles. So try to score maximum marks in IFS, because ultimately not only you will be clearing the first examination, but also you will gain some more confidence for the upcoming exams. Also, it is considered as the toughest one out of all. In the previous examination cycles, be it your October November cycle of 2023 24, or for that matter May 24, the examination is very difficult. November 2025 was also a tough examination, the second toughest of all when we compare it with the previous examination cycles. So the advice would be, do not feel that this toughness level or the difficulty level is a burden for us. No, try to remember that if you are having the desired knowledge, if you have revised at least twice, and you have practiced good quality MCQs, then you stand a chance to qualify this exam with a margin. Okay, so definitely it will require some special practice. And special practice, how? You will be going through this practice once you are having the desired knowledge, and then 2 iteration of revision are done. Then move to the practice, and that too with the in sync with the difficulty level of IIBF. Okay, so here is the 5-step formula for IFS specifically. I have enlisted these 5 pointers which you should not miss while beginning your preparation for IE and IFS. First of all, strategize. Right? This part we will be doing today. We will be having a foolproof strategy by the end of this session via picking the important modules, important units, and important subtopics. Now let me give you a heads up that when we talk about module D, we won't be able to tell you the important subtopics, right? Because every unit in module D is important. Okay, so do not pick and choose in module D. That is the advice. But yes, we can easily pick and choose in module A, B, or for that matter module C. So we'll be discussing them in this particular session. Next comes the note making, a point which often creates confusion in the mind of students. But since you have enrolled in our course, the advice here would be that try to follow the PDF. We will be having lectures on regular basis in all the 4 subjects, and the PDF from which we will be discussing right now, like I have enlisted this 5-step formula in this entire PPT. So it will be converted into a PDF and will be uploaded on your portal. You simply have to download the PDF and try to revise on the same day, because now the time is less. So whether you have to make notes on your own or not, answer is right now you should not. Once you are done with the syllabus and you feel that there is time with me, then you can scribble something here and there on the PDFs which will be providing you. But apart from that, do not start from the scratch that yes, I will be making the notes now sitting after the class. No, not at all required. Then after you are done with the note making or reading the PDF once, start revising. Right? You have to revise. And once you have revised twice, then move on to practice. Solve the exam relevant questions, because ultimately the questions are the ones which make the examination of IE and IFS difficult or tricky. Then another important point which often the students ignore is the evaluation. Do not feel overconfident if you are scoring 80% marks in your mock tests or for that matter, do not feel bogged down if you are scoring only 20% marks. In both the situations, what should be your approach? Approach should be to evaluate. In first situation, why I have lost these 20 marks, and in the second situation, why I was unable to secure 100 marks. Okay, in both the situations, you should learn from the mistakes what you are making in the mock test, because ultimately our target is the actual examination, the third May examination, not these mock tests, right? So we have to learn from these mock tests so that we do not do the mistakes in the actual exam. Then comes the point which we feel that it is not that relevant for IFS, but as far as the November examination goes, this has gained relevancy again. You should expect the unexpected. In May 2025, nothing of this sort was applicable to the examination, but since November 2025, we have to have this particular mindset that we must be exam ready. You must be knowing that in November examination, IIBF has given tricky questions based on the latest developments, based on those topics which are directly not mentioned in the syllabus. They are just an extension to the subtopic which has been mentioned in the syllabus. So certain unexpected questions were there, but whether they were out of the syllabus, no, they were the part of the syllabus only. Just the point was that they have asked from the latest development. Certain schemes they have asked, like Vishwakarma scheme, which is not mentioned in the book or the syllabus, because the book, or for that matter the syllabus, is same since 2022. So there won't be the inclusion of a scheme which was launched in 2023-24, right? So such things you can expect in the upcoming attempts also. Along with that, do not ignore the formulas also. Very, very important. I have seen students making this mistake again and again, that they don't focus on the formulas. They feel that only the concepts and the data points will sail them through this examination. No, you must focus on the formulas also, specifically in module B. Okay. Fine. So here is the first point which I was telling you, the strategy. We must know the important modules. So the timeline, when we have in our mind that 60 odd days are there for the preparation of this examination, and within 60 days, whether we will be able to cover the entire syllabus or not. See, first thing first, when we talk about this batch, fine, your batch, here module A and module B both are already covered. We have already provided you with the recorded videos. Okay. And when we talk about the classes from tomorrow, we will be starting the module D. So my suggestion would be that attend the live classes from module D onwards, and parallelly start doing the module A, or for that matter module B, whichever module you want to focus on. But the best combination will be module D and module B, because clubbed together they will give you more than 50% marks. Fine, more than 50% marks IIBF will be asking you from these two modules. So the apt strategy would be take the live classes for module D and watch the recordings of module B parallelly. Or for that matter, if you don't have that much time, just download the PDFs of module B and start studying from these PDFs. If you find any difficulty in the PDFs, then move on to the video lectures. Still, if you are unable to find the solution, then you can directly contact me on the WhatsApp group as well. So we have a dedicated WhatsApp group. Let me just give you the link. Okay, this is the dedicated WhatsApp group for the English medium students. So Jyoti is saying 50%. 50% what? Can you please elaborate that what 50%? Okay. Yes. This should be your strategy, that focus on module D, since we will be conducting the live classes from tomorrow. Parallelly, you should read the PDF of module B as well. Then the next important module is module C and then module A. So this is the order in which Previously, IIBF has asked the questions. If you club the number of questions in the past 2 or 3 years, let's suppose 2023, 24, 23 plus 24 plus 25, if you add the 3 years questions and segregate them module wise, you will find this preference only: B, then B, then C, then A. Okay. Now let's start our discussion module wise, that how we should approach each module. So module A, more or less, it talks about the Indian economic architecture. And this Indian economic architecture is filled with data. Right? Data, the pointers, the data points, the latest developments you have to remember. Not at all conceptual. Fine. I won't say that this is a conceptual module. No. Module B is the ultimate conceptual module. Apart from that, no other module is that conceptual. So module A, it starts off with the overview of Indian economy. You will find that how the country has fared over a period of time from 180 till today in terms of GDP, in terms of purchasing power parity, in terms of the income categorization, right? Lower middle income country, why we are that, how it has fared in the British era, what happened to our economy in the COVID era. All these things we'll be learning in first unit. Then unit number second, sectors of the Indian economy. More or less, primary, secondary, tertiary sectors, 3 sectors are there in our economy. And when we segregate the tertiary sector further, you will find quaternary and quinary sector also. What are the basic areas which we need to have a discussion around for all these sectors? How we will be remembering all these sectors via certain keywords. Keyword for, let's suppose, quinary is knowledge, or for that matter, decision making for your quaternary, or it is for quinary. Whatsoever is there, you must have a set of keywords. Via keywords only, you will be able to eliminate options. Like when we study quinary and quaternary sector. So in quinary, you will find that it is what? It is the sector where big decision makers are sitting, the big corporates and the government officials. For quaternary, we use the term that is the knowledge sector, right? All those services which are having knowledge as their base, they will be covered under the quaternary sector. So the keywords form very important point when we talk about the unit number second. Along with that, in case of primary sector, you find the revolutions also. Revolutions, various revolution, green revolution, brown revolution. Then we have the fiber revolution, jute, for jute, which fiber revolution is there. Then we have a white revolution, evergreen revolution. All these revolutions are also very important. Clubbed together with the sunrise sector, which is in its infancy right now. But overall, the growth prospects are really high. Then comes the economic planning in India, Niti Aayog. So all the 12 5-year plans, what were the objectives of these 5-year plans and what were the actual outcomes? That will be learning in unit number third. Plus the composition of Niti Aayog. That is also very important. Full form is also very important. In May 2025, they have asked the question from full form. Then role of priority sector and MSME in Indian economy. This is the most important unit of your entire module A. Although IIBF has not asked much questions from here, but the scope of asking questions is huge from unit number 4. So we'll be talking about the priority sectors. What are the priority sector lending targets as being given by the RBI's master guideline? Then what do we mean by MSME? What is the scope of MSME in our country? And when we say that MSME initiatives are important, so Atmanirbhar package, Make in India, Startup India, Stand Up India, then the scheme for artisans, PM Vishwakarma, which was asked in your November examination. All these initiatives are very important. And in case of unit number 5, which talks about the infrastructure part, be it the physical infrastructure, roadways, railways, airways, ropeways also, that is very important. What all government initiatives are there in case of your infrastructure, the physical one. What about the social infra? How it is different from the physical infra? And in social infra, health, education, family welfare, what all government initiatives are there? So the most important part of your unit number 5 and 4 will be the government of India's initiatives, the schemes which we will be talking about. Then comes unit number 6, the globalization. Simple definitions, if you know what is globalization, what is deglobalization, what do we mean by protectionist measures, you will score good marks from unit number 6. Unit 7 talks about economic reforms. So the why of economic reforms is important. That why economic reforms happened in our country. What was the need that we pushed for the economic reforms. Then comes how economic reforms, LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization, that's the how. And ultimately, which committees were recommending for these economic reforms? What were the recommendations and what were the committees' name? Then comes unit number 8. Your FTP chapter is very, very important. Foreign trade policy. Although in the book it is written that 2015-20, but for our exam, apart from 15-20, you must focus on FTP 2023. That is also very, very important. Then comes the role of FDI in our economy. FDI, how it has fared so far. What do we mean by foreign direct investment? What are the types of FDI? How you will be enabling the FDI under which route, government or automatic? What all FDI limits are there in various sectors? All these things will be covering in unit number 8. Then what is the difference between foreign institutional investor and the foreign direct investor? A very important area, point of difference in unit number 8, along with the recent trends, whatever the recent updates are there. Then comes International Economic Organization, World Bank and IMF, along with the WTO and some regional economic cooperations as well. So these regional economic cooperations are very, very important because last time only they have asked the question from BRICS. Okay, so you should not ignore unit number 8th and 9th. And per se, when you talk about these red fonts in all those lines or the words in the red font, they are very, very important. The questions are repeatedly being asked from these topics. Then comes climate change and sustainable development goals. Now there are 17 SDGs with 169 targets, but we have to only remember these 17 SDGs. Along with that, how India has fared in these SDGs and what all government initiatives are there when we talk about these sustainable development goals. Plus, the corporate social responsibility is also one of the important topic in your unit number 10, from where you will be having some case study based questions as was asked in 2023-24. Next comes the issues facing Indian economy. Again, data heavy topics are there. You will be having some data related to poverty. Then a discussion will be around the employment levels. Then we will be having the discussion around the urbanization, what all issues are being faced there in the planning, urban planning. All these will be covering in the last unit of module A. Okay, till here, any doubt you have, feel free to ask me. Let me just see on the YouTube also if anybody has a doubt on YouTube. Okay, so no doubts till now. Fine. Okay. Now let's move on to the conceptual module. This is the concept heavy module, module B. So economic concepts related to banking, that is your module B. Here we will be first learning about the economic concepts, some basic economic concepts. No, you can say superficial or for that matter in-depth economic concept. No, only unit number 15th will have some in-depth discussion. Otherwise, economic concepts, journal economic concepts will be learning. And how we can relate it to the banking sector, specifically India's banking sector, that will be learning in module B. So fundamentals of economics, micro and macroeconomics, and the type of economies. The definitions are very important. When we talk about this chapter, the 3 definitions of economics, very important. The 3 types of economies, very, very important. Then what is the difference between micro and macroeconomics, the 2 branches, main branches of economics. All these topics, although are very simple, but are repeatedly being asked by the IIBF. Then comes the demand and supply chapter, which is an extension of the concept that is microeconomics. The subject domain will be microeconomics here. So how the quantity supplied and quantity demanded changes or fluctuates with respect to the hike or lowering a particular price of a commodity. That is the relationship which you must understand, because based on that only you will be able to understand the supply of savings and demand of savings, which we will be learning in the theories of interest unit number 15. So these two topics are interrelated. Next, we talk about in unit number 13 exceptions to law of demand, Veblen goods, Giffen goods. Every year they ask this question either from the Veblen commodities or the Giffen goods. Then we have unit number 14, which is the formula heavy. Find formula heavy. You will find good number of formulas which you need to understand and then retain, because from this chapter you will find good number of questions based on formula itself. So measures of money supply, be it your M0, M1, M2, M3, or for that matter M4, very, very important, all these formulas. Then we talk about the velocity of money. Then as we move on to the inflation, that is measures of inflation. So we'll be talking about the CPI, the consumer price index, which is designated by the RBI as the key measure to understand that what are the inflationary trends in our country. So how we calculate the inflation rate, that is also very, very important. Then another measure of inflation is your GDP deflator. What is the formula for GDP deflator? How we interpret the money supply, the overall money supply, which is termed as M3. Right? So all these interrelations are very, very important, and most important are these formulas. Then comes the most difficult chapter of the entire IFS, that is theories of interest. So here you must focus on how the mechanism works for the determination of your rate of interest via the supply of savings and demand of savings. So we'll be starting our discussion from here only. Moving on to the criticism of your classical economists, which will be done by J.M. Keynes, and how the two, you can say, sections of economists, they interpret the interest rate. Ultimately, you will be having a good discussion around this ISLM model. So ISLM model is that particular topic from where IIBF has asked regular questions. So if you are able to understand the synthesis, then well and good. But if you feel that let's just skip this chapter altogether, I won't recommend that. I would recommend that at least try to have the trend in your mind, that how the shift is happening. When we talk about the ISLM curve, it is shifting in case of monetary policy. So which curve is shifting, IS or LM? Towards which side it is shifting, and what are the reasons behind that? If you at least remember these three things, you can answer at least one or two questions which they will be asking from this difficult chapter, unit number 15. Then comes business cycle, the phases of business cycle. Again, we have the boom phase, then we move on to the recession, then comes depression, and ultimately recovery will happen, and we will be looking into the boom phase again. That's how the phases work. After that, we also have the characteristics of your business cycle, that it is having a sinus wave, it is synchronous, it is not having any type of trend which we cannot interpret. And all these things we will be learning in the characteristics of business cycle. Then monetary and fiscal policy, a very important chapter when we talk about this particular relationship. Economic concepts related to banking specifically, you will have the discussion in unit number 17, and that too in the monetary policy part. So the economic policy which is being followed, made, or you can say prepared by the RBI so as to have the inflation rate under control, that is your monetary policy. And how the RBI is doing that, via which monetary policy tools, repo rate, reverse repo rate, then there will be CRR, SLR, certain reserve ratios will also be there. Along with that, what is the liquidity adjustment framework, the LAF framework, what will be the floor rate, what will be the MSF, how we will be interpreting the standing deposit facility in respect to the repo rate. All these things are very, very important when you talk about unit number 17. Unit number 17 also has the another topic, that is fiscal policy, which talks about the government of India's economic policy for the country's development. So here the most important part will be your union budget, right? Because ultimately, if you want to explore that how the fiscal policy works, you must know the government's revenue and the expenditure. And the relationship between revenue and expenditure only is known as the union budget. And this union budget will be covering in unit number 19. In detail, you will find the discussion around union budget. So after unit 17th, I would highly recommend that once you are done with fiscal policy, go for the unit number 19th and then come to unit number 18th, which talks about the system of national accounts, thanks to which the base year is now revised to 2024 for our country in case of the inflation. CPI is now published with the base year 2024 by the MOSPI. And along with that, we have the GDP concepts, which are again very, very important, starting off with the definition of GDP, how we calculate the GDP, the computation is very, very important. And what about the expenditure method of your GDP? These three topics are the most important ones. Plus, when you talk about some basics that you must know, what do we mean by the factors of production? How do we determine the cost of a particular product? What is the difference between the market price, or for that matter, your basic price or your factor cost, how they differ? All these, the basic terms you should remember. Then we move on to module C, which is your Indian financial architecture. Relatively, I would say this is a simpler module. Students find it very difficult. Reason being, they have to cram a lot. But when you talk about the coverage which you require here, it is not superficial. It is well defined. You can directly know the chronology and you are good to go. Fine. What are the characteristics of, let's suppose, small finance banks and how the RBI has given the updates? If you know the basics, you are good to go. You will score good marks from module C. So if you focus on chronology and the characteristics of each financial institutions, you will land up in a good score zone for your module C. So it starts with the overview only. Basics will be covered there. Indian banking structure. This particular chapter is very, very important because apart from the commercial banks, what all specialized banks are there in our banking network? So it starts with the local area bank, RRBs, cooperative banks. What are the types of cooperative banks? What do we mean by the urban cooperatives? Then payment bank, your small finance banks, NBFCs. NBFC is also one of the chapter. The dedicated chapter is there for NBFCs in the module C only. Then what are the key RBI guidelines pertaining to the banking structure? Very, very important. All those updates by the RBI, they often ask the question from here itself. Next, the banking laws, RBI Act 1934 and your Banking Regulation Act 1949. Both of them are important, and the importance stems from the sections. Find which section is for what kind of operation in these specific acts. That is very, very important. You have to cram, you have to learn them by revising again and again. Then comes the DFIs, Development Financial Institutions. There are certain financial institutions in our country whose basic function is to develop. Right? Developmental agenda is there, not the profit maximization. They need to develop. They have a task to develop a particular sector. So we have various features for these DFIs. DFIs, example is NABARD. You have Export Import Bank. You have Small Industries Development Bank of India, SIDB, or for that matter, National Housing Bank, that is NHB. What are the features of these DFIs? What is the objective of these DFIs? And when you talk about the year, establishment year, from here also direct chronology question they can ask. Then from your DFIs, we shift our focus to the MFIs. There will be certain microcredit plans prepared by these DFIs only in order to provide the credit to those people, those segments of society which are lacking the access to the credit. So we have that particular access provided by the MFIs, and the prime example or the important ones will be self-help group, bank linkage program, SBLP. And what is the difference between your SHG and JLG? Maximum questions you will find from here itself. Then comes NBFC. The introductory part will be done here. in unit number 21. In 25, you will have elaborate discussion of NBFC, out of which the most important part will be the tables. With the various tables in this particular chapter, talking about the net owned fund and your owned fund. Then there will be scale-based regulation devised by the RBI. That table is also very, very important. Direct questions will be asked from there. Next, unit number 26 talks about the insurance companies. Keep in mind, unit number 26 will be talking about insurance companies, and in module D, you will be having a chapter of insurance products. Although both are related to insurance only, but the way they are covering the topics, it differs. In insurance companies, you will find the chronology of various companies, be it the public sector companies or for that matter private companies. Then we move to the discussion of the regulator, that is IRDAI, regulator of insurance sector. And after that, we also try to have the characteristics of all those public sector companies, why they have been started in our country. Okay, then unit number 27, the regulators and their roles. All the regulators which are present, the major regulators, RBI for your banking sector, SEBI for your securities market. Then we have the IRDAI for the insurance sector and PFRDA for your pension sector. All these sectors are having different regulators, and these regulators, important guidelines, important characteristics, important features you have to remember. Then the last chapter is the reforms and developments in the banking sector. Simple chapter where mostly you will find the question from the bad bank. But we will not only cover the bad bank, but also some other developments which have been done in the recent past. Okay, so these three modules A, B, and C are relatively predictable. You can predict that yes, these are the topics from where repeatedly questions have been asked. These are the topics from where questions are not that much asked. What type of questions they are asking. But then comes the unpredictable module, that is module D. This module has the maximum number of chapters. Unit number 29 till unit number 45, you have 17 units. Fine. So these 17 units, how you should approach them. My advice, my suggestion would be, do not ignore any unit. Do not ignore any topic of these units. Keep in mind all the topics which are there in each of these units. They are very, very important. And you cannot skip, you cannot be choosy, you cannot pick and choose the different units. You have to give apt time, the optimum time which is required to each and every unit. And that's how we will be approaching this particular module. Each and every topic we will be covering via the examples, because these are not the journal topics. Fine. When you talk about the banks, being a banker, you know what type of banks are there. And when we talk about the economic concepts related to banking, again, directly you can see. And when we talk about the Indian economic architecture also, more or less government initiatives, you guys also know. But when we move on to the securities market, when we move on to the financial markets, things are very, very specific. So we'll be approaching with the basics, which is done in unit number 29. And all those basics, all those basic markets, which we'll be discussing in unit number 29, in the future chapters, in the further chapters, you will find the discussion around those markets only. Starting off with money market, capital market, fixed income market, the debt and bond market, then forex market. Also, you will be having the discussion of derivatives market and how the markets are interconnected, how they are connected domestically, how they are connected globally, how they are connected regionally. That will be covering here. Then we have merchant banking services, MBS, how the MBS differs from the commercial banking services. Very, very important. Direct questions, statement-based questions will be asked from here. Then comes the trade relation of one party with the another. Who will be providing the security? Who will be providing the ultimate funds if some party fails? So we have arrangements for them, factoring, forfeiting, and trades also, specifically for MSME. You are running a new business. You have no idea whatsoever. You need funding. where you approach some venture capitalist. They will be providing you with some capital. We'll be discussing them here. Lease finance, hire purchase. How the lease finance happens, whether hire purchasing can be done with respect to certain lease agreement or not, that we'll be learning in 39 unit. Credit rating, credit scoring, how the individual's credit score is different from the company's or corporate's credit rating. That's another area of discussion. Then mutual funds, insurance products, pension products, these three are more or less those types of products which are nowadays being traded in the banks also, find the cross selling which we call them. Okay. Para banking and financial services provided by the banks, again an extension of these products only. You will find some more services which are offered by the banks. Lastly, real estate investment trust and the infrastructure investment trust, the invites, the REITs, very, very important. Every year, Union Budget has a mention of your investment trust, and this time also on 1st of Feb, the Finance Minister has given a reference to your investment trust, which makes this chapter again very, very important. So, from tomorrow, we will be starting off with Module D itself. So, now comes the point where you should know that how we will be approaching the IE and IFS examination via this particular batch. So starting off with the learning phase, the step one will be you have to learn the modules D and module C. I'll be conducting the live classes, attend them on regular basis, the live sessions. Parallelly, you should go for the module B and module A revision. Next, the step 2 would be doubt resolution. If you are attending a 1 hour class on daily basis, then you should not have any kind of doubt after this 1 hour. Okay, whatever doubts you have, they must be addressed in your class itself. So in class support, like right now I'm taking the lecture, you can ask any kind of doubt. Similar type of deliverable will be there in the entire batch. Then 24/7 group access is also there. I have provided you the WhatsApp group, so there you can post any kind of doubts related to the timing of the batch, related to the journal doubts you are facing in your studies, related to specific doubts for a particular topic. All these you can do via the WhatsApp group. Then study material in the form of PDF. It will be uploaded once the session is over. You can directly download the PDF and have the first revision then and there itself, and second revision on Sundays, fine, or for that matter any specific day, whatever you like, where you have time. So 2 iteration of revision must be there. First on the same day, second on the day of your preference. Lastly, the step 4 should be of mastery and testing. Try to test as much as possible. Try to give yourself a check on regular basis. The conceptual check must be there on regular basis, and how you will be able to do that when you attempt the mock test, right? And have one mantra in your mind. For IE and IFS, I'm telling you specifically that revision will be the key. The more you revise, the more comfortable you will get in this particular subject. Okay, so this was it from my end. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask me in the chat section. Let me just see on the YouTube also if there are any doubts. Okay, no doubt as such. But yes, for YouTube audience, let me just tell you that this is my Telegram group. You can join via this particular scanner. Directly you can scan this QR and you will be admitted to the Telegram group for IE and IFS, where I keep on posting the latest updates pertaining to RBI, pertaining to the Government of India, or for that matter anything related to our syllabus of Indian economy and Indian financial system. And if you are willing to enroll in the Mahapack, or for that matter increment Mahapack or any other batch, then you can directly call us on 0981-981-9247. And for more details, you can visit our website, which is www.adda247.com. And for maximum discounts, if you want to have a discount code, this is the coupon code for you, that is Y1003. This is the code which you can apply. Fine. So any doubt, any kind of doubt you guys have, feel free to ask me. Okay. So class timing for now, it will be your 8 to 9 p.m. Okay. Today is the orientation. That's why we have scheduled it at this time. But the regular class time will be 8 to 9 p.m. Okay. And in case there is any change in the schedule, because you guys will be having the PPB classes also with me, so I'll be informing on the group itself how to manage our time schedule. Jyoti, I would highly recommend that focus on the live sessions. For now, just focus on the live sessions, and on regular basis try to revise. Because if you keep on revising, then only you will feel that yes, I am in a position where I can confidently crack this examination. Naresh Kumar, for the PDF, there is one dedicated icon. You can see that there is a thumbnail of every video on your portal. Just right to that thumbnail, you will find one downward icon, fine? One icon having the arrow downward. And there is another icon like this. This is the PDF, fine? Just click here and you will be able to access the PDF. No, it is in the morning. 8 to 9 in the morning we have PPB. 8 to 9 in the evening you will be having IFS. Okay, can we go through? Yes, yes. Chandrasekhar, you can go through the ebooks, but right now I won't advise. Once you are done with your syllabus and you have revised the syllabus at least twice and attempted the mock tests and you are consistently scoring beyond 60 marks in those full length mock tests, then only go to the ebooks. Fine. Okay. Before that, it makes no sense, right? Okay. No, Jyoti Sharma, this is the English medium batch. This is the English medium batch. If you want to know the timings of bilingual batch, it is 9 to 10 p.m. Okay. So let me just clear the confusion. For the bilingual classes, the timing is 9 to 10 p.m. And for the English classes, the timing will be 8 to 9 p.m. Okay. Fine. Yes, yes. I'll be taking the bilingual class also, as well as English medium. Both the classes I'll be taking. And yes, for mock test, there is a dedicated section. In the course itself, you will find test series. In a tab where test series is mentioned. And just click here and you will be able to access the unit-wise mock tests. Okay, fine. Any other doubts? Any other doubts you have? Okay. Maximum marks, it depends upon your preparation level. We have seen that students have score It's like 80 plus also. 87 is the maximum score in the last attempt. Prior to that, 91 was also one of the students who has secured 90 plus marks. Yes, yes. Evening 8 to 9 p.m. will be the IE and IFS, and for English medium PPB, you will be having the classes 8 to 9 a.m. That is what we have decided. Okay. Be rest assured, for English medium candidates, the timings for PPB will remain the same, 8 to 9 a.m. Just in case the timing shifts for English medium IE and IFS, it will be in the morning only. Fine. Let's suppose 7 to 8 a.m. It will be in the morning, not after 10 p.m. because I have seen that many students, they resisted the timing of 10 to 11 p.m. That is the reason why we have shifted it to 8 to 9 p.m. for now. And if it changes, then it will be 7 to 8 a.m. But for now, just focus on the 8 to 9 p.m. time slot for your English medium IFS. Yes, yes, Jyoti, it is the toughest one. See, you have to be very regular in the classes. You must revise on regular basis. Only after that, gradually you will gain the confidence. Confidence is very important for this subject. If you are not confident enough, then even if you read everything, lacking confidence won't be, providing you the push you require to score beyond 60 marks. So be patient. Initially, you will find this subject difficult. Everyone feels it as a tricky one, a very difficult subject, because being a banker, we don't know much about the economics. The other subjects, AFM, we are doing financial analysis on regular basis in the banks. For PPB also, we have various norms, rules, regulations which we are following in the bank. For RBWM also, but IE and IFS per se, it is not directly linked to the day-to-day banking. So it will take some time, but if you are consistent enough, you can crack this examination with good marks. Ashish, the bilingual classes will also start from tomorrow only. Today was the orientation for Aarambh Batch, and from tomorrow, in all the batches of Mahapak, you will be having the classes from 9 to 10 p.m. Srihari, that is the time slot which you are talking about, 7 to 8. We have it, we don't have it right now, but we can arrange it if there is high demand for that particular time slot. Because right now, what we have seen after the polls and everything, one-to-one discussion also with the students, they were like, we must have the time after the class of AFM. I think AFM also happens 7 to 8. After that, we have 8 to 9 p.m. slot. Please write down all the English medium timings for. Okay. For now, the classes of your English medium, I think RBWM is done. Right? RBWM is done. So we have PPB, morning 8 to 9 a.m. Fine. (8 to 9 a.m.) Then we have IE and IFS, which will be your the timing for now 8 to 9 p.m. Then we have after PPB and IFS, your AFM class. For now, it will be conducted from 7 to 8 p.m. Okay, these are the timings. Fine. I think RBWM classes for your batch, you will be getting the recorded videos, and earlier the classes, they were scheduled from 7 to 8 a.m. 7 to 8 a.m. This was the earlier slot. That is why I was saying that if the subject is done, if the topics are covered, then we can have this particular time slot with us. But right now, it is for your RBWM, reserved for RBWM. Okay. Any other doubt? Okay. Okay. Fine. So if there are no more doubts, then let's conclude the class. Try to be active on the WhatsApp group also, because ultimately you will be facing difficulty in this subject initially. So whatever doubts you have in your mind at whatever time of the day, just feel free to post it on the WhatsApp group, and as soon as possible I'll be replying to the same. Okay, so we'll be conducting the module D class from tomorrow. We'll be starting with module D, and gradually we will be covering the entire module D along with the examples and some practice as well. Chandrasekhar, I'm not sure about RBWM. Fine. So you have to check it once, because I feel that it will be conducted on 7 to 8 a.m. Fine. I'm not sure about the deliverables in RBWM, but most probably you will be getting the classes. That's what I can say. Whether they will be live or not, that's a question. Okay. I'll post on the WhatsApp group. Fine. Once I am sure, let me just ask the team, and once I get a reply, then I'll be posting on the WhatsApp group about RBWM. Okay. Fine. Okay. So I hope that all the doubts are addressed now. So let's meet tomorrow, 8 to 9 p.m. for your IIFS class. And in the morning, we'll be conducting the PPB lecture for those students who are there in the previous batches. Fine, all those batches apart from your success batch. Okay. So yes, this was it from my side. We'll see you tomorrow. Till then, goodbye, everybody. Take care.